who don't know me, I am a massive extrovert. That's not to say that I don't have social anxiety. I have it by the bucket loads. I find people draining, and I find social politics to be really awkward and hanging out in groups to be confusing. But there are two things about myself that I do know. One, I'm incredibly loud and incredibly present. And two, I definitely do need people to recharge despite how draining I do find them. And that's not just an extrovert thing. We all need people. We're born needing people. Our childhood is spent needing people, otherwise we would literally die. We may not always want people around. We definitely need them. The story today is about the first time I ever felt alone in the world. That's not strictly true. The first time was when I got lost in Checkers age 7 after gymnastics class, but my mom found me really quickly and it wasn't actually that traumatic. My mom has always had a very good balance about being very present, to the point of being stifling and overbearing like any good Jewish mom, and being absent and lumping us off at a grandparent for a couple of weeks while she flitted off to Greece, or letting us have sleepovers at friends from age 4. So I learned from a really young age that my mom didn't have to be my only caregiver, that she wasn't always around, and that I'd be fine, I'd survive under normal circumstances. Which leads us to the 16th of December 1997, Dingon's Day, otherwise known now as National Braai Day, in which my family was spending the public holiday braaiing at friends. And I was afterwards going to go sleep over at my friend Katie's place. While driving home from the braai, we get to our road and it's just full of smoke. And as we get closer to our house, we realize that it's our house on fire. After that, everything goes very quickly. My parents park the car, they run into the house. I'm sure they must have told us to stay put or go next door, but I don't remember. All I know is that I'm running into the garage, and there my mom appears with the dog, which she thrusts into my arms and yells at me to go next door. Now, Scrunch, turns out, had been sleeping peacefully on the trampoline, completely unaware of the wreckage going on around her. So there I am, holding this 20-kilo lump of a bulldog in my weak 10-year-old arms, and I'm like struggling to carry her next door through smoke, and I'm coughing, I can't breathe, and I collapse. And some man comes and lifts us both up and carries us next door. And I vividly remember this man being a fireman. Like, I can remember his outfit, like his whole uniform, but hindsight proves this to not be correct, because the fire brigade only arrived much later due to a comedy of errors in which the name of our street was the same name as a hospital on the other side of town. So, yeah. So my brothers and I were left watching our family home burn down from the next door neighbor's garden, and I remember feeling both numb, but also kind of excited by all the action, and being secretly super stoked that the piano might burn down and I'd never have to play a piano again. And when the fire was put out, my parents had to get the police there immediately, the insurance people there. They literally had to scrounge up the wreckage of their lives because they didn't have a place to stay. Well, I did. I was going to Katie for the night, and considering that I seemed okay, my mom dropped me off there, armed with the knowledge of nothing. I had no clothes, I had no stuff, I had no home, and I had no family. I literally had no idea where they were staying. And while I was cool during the evening and regaled the Goldriches with stories of my epic day, by bedtime, I wasn't feeling so hot. I was feeling really confused and sad and alone and abandoned. So for the first time in my sleepover career, I decided to wake up on Mom and get my mom to come fetch me. But when I woke Tessa up, she didn't know where my mom was. Didn't have cell phones then, and my mom had given her a list of potential people she may be at, but at 3 a.m. she wasn't going to call around to wake them all up to find out where that was, and probably wisely, She wanted my parents to have a good night's sleep to what was undoubtedly going to be a really trying time for my family. And it was. And I stayed there that night. I think I stayed up the whole night, just feeling very, very, very alone. But the next day, I was fetched and all was good. And so I started a time in my life in which I was propelled into a series of events in which I had to go solo. I moved houses several times. At the end of that year, I flew alone from Durban to Cape Town to do a 3-week summer Jewish day camp in which I knew nobody. I moved schools, and then a few years later, I moved cities. I moved to Cape Town, moved to a new school, had to start my life all over again. And with each new experience in which I had to go solo, I met new people and got better at socializing. I learned how to socialize. Because even though I'm an extrovert, being an extrovert doesn't necessarily mean that you are good with people. It just means that you need them. And I also learned that I'm good at going solo. I'm good at meeting people. And I know that each time I go solo, I will meet someone new. And I will survive.